Right, tumesha news. Right. So now everyone knows I'm a millennial. What platforms would do you feel that should a creative identify a specific platform that actually goes hand in hand with the product, and how do they get to this to decide? So this is the social media platform that I want to use, and how I'm gonna grow it.
Yeah, definitely should have a social media strategy and a social media strategist. That's where we come in.
Welcome to the Creative and Coins podcast with yours truly, Nick Mwirigi. So today, since we are in the business of actually talking in the Creative and Coins podcast, we're in the business of talking about ways creatives can make money. And one of the biggest ways nowadays for creatives to display their products and to make money is through social media. And to drive us through this conversation, we have a very special guest here. We are in the studio. So most of you guys know her. If you listen to Nation podcasts, it is Mitchelle Namasaka.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to the show, Mitchelle.
Thank you. It's so weird being on this other side of a guest.
Yeah, I know. So Mitchelle runs a podcast called Speaking of Gen Z.
Period.
Yeah, so what is the podcast about?
Just speaking of Gen Z and everything Gen Z. Of course, we have topics where we talk about millennials, you guys, and how boring you are. Jokes.
All right, so yeah. To Mitchelle news, All right. So now everyone knows I'm a millennial. But anyway, today we just want to talk about social media, growing your numbers on social media.
Yeah.
And I know you have a lot of insights on this because you are a social media manager, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now, just before we get to that, you can just give a little bit of your background, so that the viewers out there can know who you are.
Most definitely. My name is Mitchelle Namasaka. I am a Gen Z. I have been working in social media for 10 years. At least 10 years. I started off as a freelancer. Yeah, that means doing socials for schools, doing socials for businesses here and there. And then I got my internship at Nation. That was 5 years ago. And I got absorbed. And I'm here. So I think my whole career as at now has just been about digital communication, social media, digital marketing.
Wow. I think 10 years. You're those guys that being a Gen Z, you have already 10 years experience.
Yeah.
That's quite something.
Yeah, but now I think it's 5 years freelancing, of which I did not register in my mind that that's actually experience. I just used to tell people the experience I had at Nation, my first corporate job, you know. Yes. But my experience is from the word go. Yes. Since I began a small social media account for a business, and it grew by 50 followers, Wow. That was my beginning, and it's been 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, just diving into this topic of today.
Yeah.
So we were talking about how can creatives grow their platforms and actually sell their products, or even just not only sell their products, but just show off or display whatever they have online. So speaking of platforms, what are some of the social media platforms that are out there that creatives can take advantage of?
I think every social media platform that we know of now is such a safe space and a growing space for creatives. That's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, especially now.
Yes. Even YouTube is a social media
platform. YouTube as well, Spotify. I don't know if that's a social media platform, but it is
a music streaming platform.
Yeah.
Also, YouTube. I feel like YouTube has that social media aspect because it gives you a chance to converse.
Yeah, with your audience.
Yes. But Spotify, it's a streaming platform, but it's also, you can actually include it there as a platform an online digital platform.
Because it's social.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you can engage with your audience there. There are comments, opportunity, people talk to you. So, I think there are very many platforms that we have mentioned that really help creatives
So now if let's say because creatives do a lot of there's so many types of creative ventures that are out there. So you have people who are in photography, you have people who are in content creation, basically, which is either photography is a type of content creation, but you have people who are doing sketches. You have artists who draw, and you have people who create products. So for creatives, what platforms would do you feel that should a creative identify a specific platform that actually goes hand in hand with the product, and how do they get to decide? So this is the social media platform that I want to use, and how I'm gonna grow it.
Yeah. If I got your question right, you're asking if I am a producer, a content creator, if I should just stick with one.
Yes. So how do you choose the right platform for your business?
I think we should definitely, as a content creator, you should definitely look into and venture into all social media platforms, and then curate your content to fit in the different platforms. You see, like the content I'd have on TikTok, with the trends on TikTok, with the algorithm on TikTok is not gonna be the same content I put on Instagram. So it's very important if you have an account on every platform, just to hook different audiences on different platforms, you know. So I think that's a disservice to your creation if you're just gonna stick to one platform. You get
to as many platforms as possible.
Definitely.
And just to make sure that you reach the right target, should you have something like let's say like a strategy, a social media strategy? And how would you go about this?
Yeah, definitely should have a social media strategy and a social media strategist. That's where we come in.
You know, most of the time creatives they're starting out. They really do not have that enough resources to hire people. So perhaps you want to start by yourself.
Yeah.
So when you're creating a strategy, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about should I create different content that fit different social media platforms? Because of course TikTok, it's vertical videos, isn't it? YouTube, it's more or less horizontal. It's a wider video. Yeah,
it's like a landscape.
Yes, and of course Instagram is more oriented towards photos. So when you're creating this strategy, what does the strategy entail?
Yeah, first of all, on having, you're starting out, you don't have enough resources to hire. Sometimes it just takes a conversation. Like what we're having now, you didn't pay me. He didn't pay me, guys. But he's gonna know a lunch. You see, just a conversation with a social media strategist or someone even just TikTok bigwigs, just having a conversation with them and just asking, unless someone is a gatekeeper, honestly, people share, and the more you share, the more you share knowledge, the more knowledge you get. On the strategy, it's really important, as I said earlier, you're not gonna post the same content, you're not gonna cross post. If you're gonna, it has to be different. Let's start with how you engage your audience on Instagram. Let's say you've posted a reel. Probably you have a 9 to 16 ratio. That's the vertical, right? But what audio is trending on Instagram? Inaingiana na hiyo content yenye umeifanya ndio cross post. What hashtags do you want to use on Instagram? What hook at the beginning of the video? Honestly, the hooks that you're gonna use in the beginning of your video for Instagram are definitely gonna be different from TikTok, because we have different age groups.
Yes.
According to my research, most of you guys, the millennials, mko Instagram sana. Also, you guys are on TikTok, yes, but on TikTok definitely we have more Gen Z And probably that we could debate about that and look at the
Because of
statistics.
you see, the problem is the algorithm.
Yeah.
So for me, as a millennial, I will actually see a lot of more millennial content, because that is how the algorithm is.
Yeah.
It's triggered towards. It is made to give me what I think I
You
usually
like.
consume. Yes.
Yeah.
So you might actually think that there's only Gen Zs, but there are a lot of millennials.
Yeah, for sure. It's not only Gen Zs, but mostly Gen Zs utawapata TikTok.
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes.
that's where they engage most on. And so, as I was saying, the hooks that you're going to use on the videos are different. The effects. I don't know if you've seen the effects on TikTok where you have like a big face and a big smile.
Yeah.
You've seen it trending there.
Yes.
You haven't seen it trending on
yes,
Instagram,
of course.
you know, or YouTube. Fine, they'll do okay because you're funny. But that effect, that specific effect, and that specific audio is running the streets on TikTok. So there's really no way utaniambia you posting the same exact thing everywhere.
Okay.
I'll go on TikTok and watch the same video, then come on Instagram, watch the same video, then go on WhatsApp, watch unani bo.
Okay.
Give me something different.
And of
you
course,
know.
the audiences are not the same.
Yeah.
The people on Instagram and the people on TikTok, most of the time, are not the same,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because you might find that there's someone who just says, I'm only on Instagram.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I'm on Instagram. I understand a lot of you guys, the young guys, are on Snapchat, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, I'm not on Snapchat, but yeah, there is
Yes.
also that.
So there are people who are just Snapchat,
Yeah.
people who are just TikTok. So you need to, your product really, whatever content you're creating really needs to speak to that platform, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for you to know what speaks, research is key. Just go search, just go see what these TikTok bigwigs are doing. I think the most another disservice we do to ourselves as creators is, let me start a trend on my own.
Okay.
Just ride on what's trending.
Okay, so ideally, don't try to do something. Don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Not really. You don't have
just
to.
see what is working.
Yeah.
And see how you can plug yourself in there.
Yeah.
And just on researching on the platform, it's also I from what I've heard you say, it's like it's very important for you to understand how the platform itself works, how the algorithm works, and try and figure out what an algorithm is. Try and figure out what the effects are.
Yeah.
What are the offerings of this app, and what are the offerings of the other app? Because you'd actually find that, like you've said, there are some effects that you'll never find on Instagram, but there are loads of them on TikTok. So just learning the platform, how the technical aspects of it, and how some of those videos work, and then I think you'll be on the right side. What else would you say that would make my content be seen more on platforms?
Of course, you've talked about the trends.
Yes.
And I'd say in a video, and also just the fact that you're posting, you're curating content to fit specific platforms. Yeah. Tuseme now you're on TikTok on video, or even Instagram. My number one tip is your video should have 3 parts. Okay. Yeah, let's break this down. So the first part is a hook.
Okay.
For example, don't cancel me for this. That's a hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're reading a story or if you're watching a movie and
Wait, so that's when it starts. Just tell me, don't cancel.
Don't cancel me, or
so I've already captured my attention.
Yeah.
I want to know
what are you gonna say? I want to cancel you. Should I cancel you?
Yeah.
You get. Yeah. That's just an example. Another example is maybe don't freak out, or your phone. Your phone battery, you're doing a disservice to your phone battery by doing such stuff.
Okay.
Or this is why your boyfriend is not talking to you. That's a hook.
Okay.
And then the second part is value. So what exactly am I getting out of this video? I'm spending my 2 minutes, 1 minute here. What value are you giving me? Yeah. Are you educating me on something? Are you educating me on why my boyfriend isn't talking? Why my girlfriend isn't? Why my phone battery is dying? Why you get?
Yes.
And then the last part is the CTA. That's the call to action.
Okay.
So what do you want me to do? Or not actually, let's rephrase it. What do you want your audience to do for you in return?
Okay.
Yeah? Do you want them to buy something? But unajua ukishinda ukiuza unabo watu. Sometimes just tell them to go to your page. Sometimes tell them to subscribe. Even tell them to follow or share. You know, that's just a call to action.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think people really, it's just human nature. You really don't like people who are always just trying to get money out of you, do you? No, mare kwa mare, you know.
Sometimes you want something that... even on this CTA, sometimes you can even do giveaways, isn't it?
Yeah, you can. Also, you can just give advice, period.
Okay.
That's a call to action. So what do you need to take action of your situation? What do you need to do to make sure your battery life goes on and on? You know, I think that's one of my tips.
So, you've said it is, you need to have a hook.
Yeah.
And need to show value in whatever content that you're doing. And also, lastly, you have a call to action.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is actually very important for businesses, because the call to action part, especially, because there's a reason why you're trying to grow your numbers online, because you're trying to get an action out of these guys. So you let's say you have 100,000 as subscribers on your channel, whatever it is. There's something that you want out of them, and you really need to have a very solid call to action, so that you're able to convert some of these audiences into your customers, or into your buyers. So actually, I feel like this is something that whoever's listening really needs to follow up on.
Yeah.
On your social media strategy, you need to have a hook. What is your hook? And I feel like it should be always, you try to remodel it in the social media platform that you're in, If it's podcasts that you're doing, what is your hook on your podcast? Like what you just said, you scare people maybe.
Unatingiza kidogo.
Or you just do something very dramatic just to capture the attention, and then the value. Of course, the value proposition. What am I gonna get out of this? For the guys who are listening to this podcast, of course, you're going to get business tips.
Yeah.
How as a creative, how are you going to grow your social media platform? And of course, the CTA, which is very important. Now on to growing your numbers.
Yeah.
So you've established all these things. You have a strategy in place. You have everything set down. So now you want to grow your numbers from 1 follower to 1 million.
Yeah.
So what do you do? How do you get these numbers?
First of all, a disclaimer: it doesn't happen overnight unless I don't know, you're as a sensation. Like just allow me to name Aziad.
Yes.
You remember how she just blew up
from 0 to 1 to
you
1
know,
million.
yeah. But also that took work before she blew up.
She was creating content for a while.
Exactly. You know, it's not like it blew up just immediately. I'd say now, on every platform, some tips could be audience engagement. You know, there's one thing a teacher of mine, a lecturer of mine taught me. Her name is Dr. Radoli. She said something we undermine as creatives is comments. Mtu ame comment on your post and then you just like, or you lenga.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She said, it's really important, and that's the audience perspective. It's really important for your audience to feel like, wow, she or he has noticed me. Let me follow. Let me put on notifications that whenever she posts a story, I'm there. Because when I comment, she's definitely seeing she's seeing me, you know. So
there's a need, there's a reason why they're commenting, isn't it?
Exactly.
They want to connect.
Yeah.
And if you're able to do that, to engage, then you're personalizing whatever it is that you're selling.
Yeah. It's not that they're getting in touch with you, not just your page.
Yes.
And that's really important for content creation. Your audience is really important. You wouldn't be there without them. What are you doing then without them? You know, that's one way of engaging them, and it's truly important. Yeah.
So in engagement, what would you do? You just like, or do you just say
No.
reply to whatever they say?
Yeah, please do reply. You're not that important, sorry to say. Just reply. I know sometimes there may be many, but just try and like and reply.
And always have an extra exit strategy. If the replies are just if you're saying this and then there's
oh yeah, yeah.
you better have an extra exit.
Exactly. Just reply once. Like you reply 10, I just lenga. Or like uzuri. That's just what I'm saying. Just engage with your audience on the comments. There's also polls. You've seen Instagram nowadays on the comments. It has, you can comment and you can engage with a poll. So do you think podcasts are doing, or what are your plans for this weekend? Are you going for Bensol or R&B? What then? People, that kind of engagement. There's also giveaways, but now that's when you already have a slight of followers. And how giveaways work, you don't necessarily have to be selling product or service. Sometimes you may just be an influencer or a creator who's just putting out content, not selling anything. You get me?
Yeah.
So giveaways, you could do, just an example. If there's an event an event going down this weekend, you have a ticket, just even buy just an extra ticket and you want to give away. Tell people, if I'm giving away this ticket, comment your favorite artist or the artist you want to see this weekend. Tag 3 people, make sure they follow my account,
Yeah.
And search ways. And you'll get people, because people want free things.
So freebies are
definitely. So just spend that 5k or 3k, just buy a ticket. That's an example. Or even give away breakfast somewhere, or so I think that's also a really important part
on engagement. I feel like that's a really strong point, because one of the things that I've read about how algorithm works, most of them actually favor engagement. So the more your audience engage with you, the more that content is distributed out there. So especially for meta platforms, and that is Facebook and Instagram, they really, really favor engagement.
Yeah.
So if the audience are able to engage with you more, then it's going to be shared for the people who are commenting or engaging. So it's going to be shared to their followers. And if their followers also engage, so spread out.
Yeah.
So it's actually, it works very well on your side if you're able to spark that engagement. So having a conversation with the audience is actually it's a very good way of making sure that people are always engaging with you.
Yeah. And on that engagement part also, there's also this thing of I'm just posting on TikTok. I don't watch stuff.
Yeah.
TikTok, and according to what I've seen and my research is, it gives when you give. You get?
Yeah.
So you really can't tell me you just post on TikTok, then just check the app.
Okay.
Just be scrolling. If you feel like you're gonna be an addict, put a timer.
So the more you use it, it's
exactly the more you use it, and also it helps with just understanding what's going on the streets of TikTok, what's on corrupt talk, what's on kienyeji talk, what's on content creator talk. You get? So
I see a lot of content creators, the bigwigs. Sometimes you see that they follow 0 people. They have 1 million followers. They follow 0 people.
Yeah.
Does that work against them?
Them, they already have
an audience. They've already built a community.
Exactly.
They wants to see whatever it is that.
Community actually is the word.
Yeah.
It's not just an audience. It's people who identify themselves with Nick Mwirigi. So it's not gonna be hard for them to get likes or follows. So I don't think that's gonna really hurt their brand.
But for someone who's starting out, don't play those games.
Please don't. I think just follow Okay, we'll talk about this when we get to the bad strategies.
Yes. And I think we need to dive into that. So that the good strategies,
Yeah.
we talked about some of the good
Yeah.
strategies that you need to do. So now, some of the bad
On the
strategies.
bad strategies, and I was just gonna mention it, is follow. When you follow back, na follow. You get. Ukini follow back to hivi, and you know it happens.
It happens. Actually, there are some apps that actually do that. There are bots that do that.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
So using bots, do you recommend people to use bots?
No. You know, you are trying here. We're all about being real and being audience driven and audience people.
Yes.
So I think it's important to just have actual people who follow you and like or dislike you. You know, instead of just having bots.
Yeah, because sometimes
Yeah.
they might get you in. You might hire a bot. Let's say hire. You might get a bot to do all this work for you, and then you end up growing the most undesirable audience, isn't it? Because it's just going to pick anyone and anything,
Yeah.
and even other bots.
But even those bots, what do they do? Do you just buy them as followers and then you have to add more money for them to like your?
At the end of the day, it's a business. So,
But also, what are you really gaining? Maybe that's really
there's always, you see, the from what I see, it's there's FOMO. There's that fear of missing out. So if you see Nick Murigi has 2 million followers on Instagram, so you're wondering, you've never heard of Nick Murigi, but you see this is someone who probably is a local guy. Why does he have 2 million followers?
Yeah.
So that kind of makes you get some organic following as well.
Yeah.
If your numbers are too high sometimes. So that's the reason why some people would actually prefer to get bots that drives their following numbers that they get. It's a machine that keeps on just getting numbers and growing your social media. It follows people and follows them.
But also with you, if Nick Murigi and I'm sure you've seen it, and also as you're listening in, you've seen it. Unapata Nick Murigi akona 2 million followers, but the likes are at 150.
Yes.
And you know what to say, wajinga people know. And they know this one
That has bot followers.
this one has bot followers, and they're not even gonna follow you. So I know it's really hard to grow followers and have like an audience, but I just stick to the real stuff because that's what's gonna pay off. Unless you're just like a scammer and you wanna do scamming.
So on these bad strategies, so the number one is following and unfollowing people. What is number two?
I think posting clickbait. I'd say clickbait, yeah.
Yes.
And there's this.
And clickbait is not the hook.
No, clickbait is actually not the hook. It's actually, I wanted to give a bad example, but I'm just gonna try and reframe it. It's actually lying. There's really nothing. You've seen these videos on TikTok where there was probably, let's take Gen Z protests for instance. Tear gas on Kimathi Street.
Yes.
Okay, now a good example. You remember when Caswell aliruka into NMG?
Yes.
And then a clickbait is, in that instance, is journalists from Nation Media Group throw out, on a video, throw out Caswell from their building.
Yes.
Police arrest him. That's a clickbait. A hook is, you're just trying to hook your audience with exactly what you're gonna talk about in the next 3 seconds. Yeah.
So basically, clickbaits are just lies. You're lying.
Yeah.
You're lying to your audience. You're not. You either use a thumbnail that is very enticing for the audience, that feels like, hey, there's something. I'm going to get something here.
Yeah.
When they click on it, it is exactly the opposite.
Exactly.
It could be a very nice photo of you doing something, and then someone feels like, hey, I'm gonna see this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing, I feel that perhaps that I've seen of bad strategies is catfish. Yeah, it's something similar to what you're talking about, using
The
someone
clickbait,
else's using someone else's images.
Yeah.
So you're trying to find, because you've realized that a lot of people like people who look good. So you go online, try and find someone who looks very good, and then you create an all account around that person.
Yeah.
And pretend that you are that person for, like, let's say for like a month, to make your numbers figure like that million.
Yeah. And on the is that fake account or what? On catfishing,
Yes.
every time I go on TikTok, I see an Amber Ray post
Yes.
on TikTok, and it's
Yes.
the baby,
Yes,
and she's looking so cute. And then on the right, I see Amber Ray is live.
Ah.
So I click on it,
And it's,
and it's not Amber Ray.
Totally someone else.
It's a totally different person. I go to the profile, I find out, hi, Akumbe, this is in Amber Ray's profile.
Yes.
And you know what they're doing on that TikTok? They're following each other. So this it's working, but it's really unethical and
Yes.
unprofessional.
So if you're a creative and you're selling a product,
Yeah.
then that would be definitely not a good strategy, because Michelle is gonna come to your live and see you selling now your bags and realize this is not Amber Ray selling these bags.
Yeah.
So the other thing maybe that I've seen this a lot. People who buy TikTok accounts, and actually people who sell accounts. So someone has grown an account up to 100,000 and then decides to sell it. So what do you make of that?
Yes, for sure. I can be selling my account. I've grown it very organically. Yeah.
Yes.
I've done my funny videos or skits, and then I give it to you. We probably change everything, the name, but okay, maybe people won't know it was Nick's. It was my account first before we gave it to you, right? We're together, but okay, there's really nothing wrong with that. But are you utilizing the followers? Unaza wabo na unfollow, so it's just still goes back to engaging your audience and capturing their attention, because they can unfollow you if you're boring.
Yes.
Even if they don't know even if they don't know how they came to you. Another question is, when did I follow this person? Unfollow. Mbona ako hapa? And I'm following, unfollow,
Yeah.
So it's really kind of tricky to keep that audience. I think would say just start from scratch. And engage with other TikTokers, other Instagrammers.
And what if you started off doing something like, let's say right now, it's actually the quickest way to grow your numbers online right now, especially on Twitter, the quickest way to grow your number is political activism. So you start with politics. You're this guy who's very vocal in terms of whatever political speech is out there.
Yeah.
And then at some point you just decide, I'm going to sell now beds. After you've reached 100,000 views, 100,000 subscribers or followers, you decide, I'm going to sell beds, I'm going to sell pillows. Are you going to lose your audiences, or how do you maintain these audiences now?
First of all, the audience you got followed you because you're that critique.
Yes.
You have like so many insights regarding the government and what it's doing wrong and what it's doing right. So that's exactly why I followed you. I did not follow you to get beds. So it could also be, it's kind of tricky. Maybe you just got an audience that really actually likes you for you, and some people who just like you for your personality and are gonna support you whether you're selling whatever. But I think it's kind of hard to transition from being, now in this case, that political activist to now being a mwanabiashara. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we wind up, because I know we've almost exhausted some of these things that we're talking about. So how do you maintain your following, once you've created you've created a community, how do you maintain your audiences?
We've talked about engaging them, yeah, and it's simply even just replying to people's stories. And I say this, it's kind of a mind game. Nick, if you just give me one celebrity you follow right now that you don't really care about but you follow.
Probably Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe in his case it's gonna be hard for him to reply to your stories.
I don't even expect.
But all I'm just saying is engage your audience. Mali, how I expect. You know. Just whenever it is unexpected, just engage with them. If you put the question and answers on Instagram, you know it, on stories, you know it, where you ask a question and people answer.
Yes.
Instead of just reposting them on your stories, try and reply and also post, or reply, have that conversation and repost. That's what Just Ivy does. And Just Ivy is not just Ivy. You get, she's people's Ivy. People trust her with, and people, I'm sure I would trust her with my money. It's just because I see her engaging with people. She's real. You get, she's an actual person. She's not just someone I hear about. Also, that just engaging your audience in that perspective could help. I'd say how to maintain your followers is consistency.
Of course.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You really cannot have followers just following you for nothing. Be consistent. If you're taking a health break, let them know what's going on. That's what you signed up for, you know.
So consistency, do you mean, do I need to post daily?
Yeah,
or regularly?
If you could post even 3 times daily a day, that could help, you know. And also Instagram, even if you don't pay for Meta, it has a way to show you what time your audience is most active. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
But that's when you apply as a Instagram creator or business. That's also free.
So these things are important. Looking at your analytics.
Exactly.
Some of those tell the insights. It's very important, isn't it?
So just know the peak times. We have free tools out here that you can use. Later is totally free. Later.social. We also have.
It helps you to schedule your posts.
Yeah, that's
so
exactly.
You don't really need to. You don't need to.
You don't
need to
manually. You don't have to post manually. Just. Instead of getting a social media manager and you know all those expenses, just download these apps, shoot your content and schedule.
Bots are not kind of nice, but they're AI bots that can actually help you reply to posts.
But they're not they're AI. They're not human. There's gonna be a difference. They're just, and also those AIs. What it's they usually reply to the FAQs, you know, frequently asked questions, right? Yeah. It's not like, how are you? I don't think they'd reply to that. If you went on that health break, then you came back and someone comments, how are you? You really can't expect an AI to reply.
So you are anti-AI?
No, AI is here to help us. This AI is helping us auto-publish stuff on our socials, right? AI gives us insights on on what to shoot on and how to shoot it, you know. But let's not lose our human.
So for the social connection, let's just be
exactly.
Let the humans do the social work. Yeah. So I guess that's. I feel like we've exhausted most of the things, and I feel perhaps. Maybe next time we could make this longer and just talk about more on especially the strategies, because I feel that personally I've learned so much, and my take home is the 3 things that I need to have on my content, which is the hook, the value, and the CTA.
Yeah.
So maybe next time if we get a chance to have you on board again, we can actually talk about more on this CTA.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the tools that are actually free, we have Buffer.
Okay.
Buffer, that's BUFFER. We have later.social. We have Planoly, that's also free. And the other one I know of is Publer, PUBLER.
Wow.
So those are totally free unless you want to add more accounts. It can just help you with 3 if you're just a startup. Yeah.
Right. So thank you very much, Michelle. And also thank you guys for making it this far to the show. And I hope you've learned a few things. For me, like I said, I've learned that I just need the hook, the value proposition, and of course the CTA to all my content. And for this, the CTA for today is please subscribe to the show.
Love it.
Until next time, thank you for keeping it creatives and coins. Bye-bye.
Bye.